Hello, folks. My name is AP the Weird One, and we are back with Kijin Gentōshō, Sword of the Demon Hunter, or Sword of the Demon Hunter, Kijin Gentōshō. This is my last episode review. I am, frankly, bored of this series, and I'm going to explain a little bit why. So, for episode 5, we get... It's a slow chapter. It is painfully slow, and not in a good way. Basically, at the beginning of the episode, we get some demon girl, we'll say that, singing a song, and sings like 8 different, sings 8 parts of it, like a little song, a little rhyme. We cut away to this guy, Miura Nakatsuga. He thinks that the certain person looks like his older brother, and he goes into the soba shop. Yeah, the soba shop from the last episode, and I'll get to explain why. He have you learned about my brother and everything? It's like, no, just enjoy enjoy our soba. You seem a bit stressed out. Of course, Jinta comes in. He's not willing to. The soba owners ask him, like, can you help him out? I'm like, no, I just take care of demons. But through coercion, he is going to do it. While things are going on, like, I guess maybe a couple days or like just later on the day, Jinta meets up with his little, I guess cousin Natsu. They talk about love. Like, it's like been 1 year. She's 16 and and it's time for her to marry. Jinta's wondering if she will marry who is it that marry Zenji, but she only sees him as an older brother, and of course she also asks Jinta, like, who you want to marry. It's like, well, me being a wandering samurai with no stable work and everything, that's a hard thing to handle. We do learn that he's age 31, but even though the reason he does this thing, he doesn't know why, but he just does it, and she kind of likes that about him. Anyway, later on, he meets up with the samurai. They talk about it, and they discuss like the little white flowers and daffodils, and I'm guessing it's something to do with memory erasing. And that's essentially the episode. All right, and let me explain what bugs me. For essentially 3, technically 4 episodes, we're in the exact same location, and based on the description, so begins in okay. In the Edo period, there's a shrine maiden called Ishigimi in the mountain village of Kadano. Jinta, wandered orphan, who, along with his younger sister Suzune, drifted into the village and grew up becoming the shrine maiden guardian, venturing to forest to defeat a mysterious demon who speaks to him in a far future and the threat of the demon god. So begins this epic historical fantasy series that follows a demon hunter through century-spanning journey from Edo to Heisei periods, all the while questioning his sword. I get this is a long manga series. However, it feels like it's taking forever. It's like I want more time periods. You would think like this would be like an epic journey through across history from the 1840s to essentially 2019. Then 2019, we have World War I, we have World War II. There seems like you could do a lot more with this series, and it just feels limiting. I mean, hell, I wouldn't mind seeing this go into America during the Civil War. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like you could even place it there. For something that feels like a journey across the ages, we ain't moving very fast. And I'm in more ways, I'm thinking this would have a lot more action, but it's just a lot talking. And here's the thing, I get it. I've seen the big manga Free Ren, that is a lot of talking. There's not a lot of action, but in place of that is a good humor. You have very likable characters, especially with the English dub. And Kijin Gentōshō doesn't really offer that. It just feels very plainly boring. I mean, and for having a mystery, you would think we would get like a little bit more information, kind of how it was in episode 3. I don't know. I just want more from this, and I'm not necessarily getting it. Hell, from a manga's perspective, I just wanted to see if like his sister in his adult form was uncensored or anything. That's not the case. Basically the first episode from this covers the first 2 volumes. And I'm like, wow. And episode 1 begins in a different place. Like, it begins, I think, in the Heishi era. So you kind of go backwards, and they didn't do that. I can see why they went with why they did it, but it just felt so weird to, like, it covers like 2 volumes worth. And I mean, as a reader, I'm probably not going to be hooked. I'd probably be honest, I'm not going to be hooked. Well, now mind you, there's a novel side to it, so the novel will be a little bit better. But I mean, if you're doing just from the manga perspective, I don't think there's enough to hold its value. I don't know. I need a little bit more action in my series. A good example being S's Dynazenon. That is a series. I'll bring that up. This series, visuals. Let's see. Well, that's not the cover one, but to point the point, S's Dynazenon. Each episode is about, say, 75% or maybe 80% talking, learning about characters, and then we have about 20% or so of good action. That's, to me, I like that kind of balance. It's something that's prominent, and you even see that in a little bit of the Gundams, Gundam Q-Quox, even like Kamen Rider Gav and Gozuger. They kind of have that pacing as well. I like that. I like that kind of pacing. Or if you're gonna have a slow series like Freeman, you have like jokes. You have like a very likable cast. Gentōshō does not have that, unfortunately, and I think I've given it a fair shot. I'm just bored of it, and especially that I'm going back into doing my Let's Play, doing my Sonic Adventure 2 series. I don't know, I just feel like more inclined to wanting to do that and then spend less time on this, and it allows me to have the Yandere Elf a little bit later in the day, so to speak, or I can still do in the morning. But yeah, I'm dropping this anime. I'm sorry. This episode just bored me, and I was already been thinking about dropping to begin with. It's like, and this kind of sealed the deal. I'm sorry this series reviews ended, but I don't have any interest in it. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Hopefully see you guys next time for my next anime review. Sorry that I stopped this.